For It, who's of course the stable companion of Barford Diva. The plot thickens even more.
The plot thickens, or as you stir the soup, the cauldron boils. It's a very, very fierce competitive race this. We are at race time. We've got one more to come. Like the last, it must have been a hunter chase, but it is a little bit of a treat for you. Here we go.
So turning to walk towards the starting tapes, 11 of them coming in at the entrance to the back straight. They're off. Jumping away with Sabrina in front. Early Mo Silks on the approach, the first of the 12 scheduled flights, but she's got plenty of competition for the early lead and is headed going to the first by Smoking Pigeon in the white sleeves and the flashy white face crossing the lines. And Smoking Pigeon emerged just ahead, clipping the top of the opening obstacle. Crossing the lines, chasing the early pace. Morgenstern, red jacket, is not far behind her, with Barford Diva in the black and orange jumping up well, just shading third ahead of Morgenstern. And Sabrina, having jumped off in front, has been reined back to track the leaders down on the inner, on the approach to the third. Just Go For It in a pink jacket in midfield, with Man of Many Words, the green cap, and the Changing Man in the black and white with the striped sleeves. Henschke in a sheepskin noseband is among those held up. Black Lightning in a yellow jacket out widest of all at the last of the 4 flights over on the far side. Just Go For It now steadied back to be last but one, and Universal Brook, white cap, the early back marker, exiting the back straight for the first time and crossing lines. And Tom Scudamore move on by a couple of lengths from Smoking Pigeon. Barford Diva in a black and orange jacket racing on the inner of Morgenstern, and then Man of Many Words Sabrina, the Changing Man and Black Lightning wide. The nose-banded Henschke back on the inner in a line of 3 in rear, with Universal Brook and Just Go For It. Into the straight, and the pace has just slackened off a little, entering the last 2 miles. Crossing lines, leading Smoking Pigeon on the left. Barford Diva tracking them with Morgenstern, and then working across to the right to Man of Many Words with the green cap and Black Lightning. The Changing Man held up in a black and white jacket, slightly worse than midfield, upsides Henschke, and then Just Go For It and Universal Brook, and crossing lines leads them over the 5th. They've all handled that neatly enough. About 8 lengths covering the field, running between the 2 flights up the straight, and the white-faced crossing lines leading. A well-grouped field in behind. Smoking Pigeon slipstreams the leader over this flight to Barford Diva. Morgenstern, the Changing Man, a bit closer. And they are bound to embark upon one further circuit. If anything, more tightly grouped up than they were. Henschke is just about last of this tightly clustered up field. Crossing lines, right-handed by a couple of lengths to Smoking Pigeon and Barford Diva. The Changing Man, black and white jacket, disputing fourth with Morgenstern wide. And then Sabrina. Universal Brook, a dark jacket with a white cap's made a bit of headway, just ahead of Man of Many Words and Just Go For It. And then Henschke and Black Lightning. So back where they started from, heading towards the first of the line of flights over in the back straight once again. And crossing lines in front from a relatively early stage here. Morgenstern, stablemate to the leader, has gone up to sit on his tail. Smoking Pigeon, meanwhile, on the near side of Barford Diva, the Changing Man in a black and white jacket. Man of Many Words circling them's a bit closer, green cap. The Changing Man not fluent there and gets a bit of a hurry up on landing. Sabrina's shaken up on the inner in midfield in a mauve jacket alongside Universal Brook, and then Just Go For It, pink jacket just about in touch. Henschke's having to be ridden along, getting 1 or 2 liveners, and Black Lightning is toiling at the back of the field. So they've gone beyond the midway point on the far side, crossing lines in front over 4 out, taking that fluently enough. Continuing to dictate here, 1 or 2 of these beginning to feel the heat as they close in on 3 out, crossing line. Got over it once again by a couple of lengths to Smoking Pigeon. Morgenstern ridden along Red Jacket, and then Barford Diva in the black and orange. Sabrina on the inside has got a position 3 or 4 lengths off them, shaken up to hold that as Crossing Lines just begins to press on, making the descent out to the back straight. Just Go For It in a pink jacket up into about 6th place is in touch, but the rest are all seemingly toiling, and Crossing Lines has got quite a few of these on their stretch. Sabrina as though picked up the bit on the descent and is now moving through to dispute second with Smoking Pigeon. Morgenstern relegated to 4th is hard at work, 2 or 3 lengths away to Just Go For It, and then the Changing Man. So Crossing Lines leading into the straight, followed through by Sabrina on the right, Smoking Pigeon on the left, then Morgenstern and Just Go For It clear of the Changing Man. A good gap to Henschke. Crossing Lines drifting across towards the near side, followed there by Sabrina, who manages to get to the rail and comes alongside. So Sabrina on the extreme right, challenging Crossing Lines. Smoking Pigeon a couple of lengths off them on the extreme left. Sabrina got upsides Crossing Lines, who's found a bit more, but Sabrina has nosed ahead, running between the last two. Sabrina hard under the rail from Crossing Lines. Smoking Pigeon is back in 3rd. They're clear of Just Go For It. Sabrina and Harry Cobden at the last, over a length clear. Crossing Lines is sticking to their task. Now Cobden shakes the mare up. Crossing Lines continues to fight on doggedly under pressure. Sabrina hard under the hedge with 100 yards to cover, leads by a couple of lengths from Crossing Lines and Smoking Pigeon. It will be Cobden at the double as he nurses home Sabrina to win. Crossing Lines a plucky effort in second, Smoking Pigeon is back in 3rd, and a yawning gap to only 2 others to complete, Just Go For It and the Changing Man.
On and off the bridle, but it doesn't matter because Sabrina comes home the strongest. A really good ride that from Harry Cobden, and in a first-time tongue tie, Sabrina gets back on track. This daughter of Yates has won for the first time since the 15th of February 2020 when she bolted up in an Ascot bumper. It's not been quite as good for her since then, but definitely that is a step back in the right direction there, and I'm sure Connections will be absolutely thrilled. A very warm welcome to you all at home to the Wednesday evening show here. Lots to look forward to tonight. The Gold Cup highlights and memories we're going to be looking forward to discussing at some point during the evening, but it's time to say good, very warm welcome as well to Steve Jones here and to George Baker, who are both in the studio. Steve, great to see you.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah, good to be here.
Yeah, looking forward to Cheltenham.
Difficult to know how much Harry Cobden had up his sleeve and to what extent he was just coaxing and nursing Sabrina through the race. Either way, he told us earlier on he thought she'd just about win. He was absolutely spot on, and it's 6.5 to 1, Jonathan.
I didn't think she was going for a lot of the race. I thought he set her off in front. She soon got headed. I didn't think she looked as if she was very happy.
I don't think she jumped the first half of the race. That might have been part of it.
But and in the end, I'm not quite sure. Like you, is he just coaxing her, or is there actually, amazingly, quite a lot left?
Yeah.
Anyway, you know, the first two have worn tongue straps for the first time, and it's clearly made a difference. As in Sabrina's case, going into a handicap. Smoking Pigeon